As you said, I was a part of the Mirovna Academia or Peace Academy for a month. So that was from July and August. And the Mirovna Academy or Peace Academy is a course for peace practitioners, also academics, also people who are just interested in getting to know about the topics related to peace and peace building. And this year's topic was connected to populism and nationalism, some kind of, let's say, cases, lessons learned from Bosnia Herzegovina. We were speaking about the topics of populism, nationalism, resistance to nationalism, resistance in the working place, resistance through the international projects. We also spoke about local first and this activism, especially in the case of Bosnia Herzegovina, and how it works or how it doesn't work as well. Most of the course lecturers were university professors, or as Randy likes to call it, also academics, people who are working in the academy, are interested in the academic work, but also working as practitioners in the field, which is like super interesting term that I learned, and something really, I would say, appealing to be a academic and basically helping these theoretical parts, but also doing really practical and useful, viable, tangible things in the field. Resistance was something that definitely took quite a huge part of the academy where we spoke. We spoke about resistance within international projects, but we also spoke about resistance in the workplace. For me, this was really interesting concept of the resistance in the workplace. So resistance to populism, nationalism, ethno-nationalistic divisions, and separation and segregation among people. There are still, let's say, people, who are working in the factories, and then, they're managers, they're, people who are basically running the companies are using this, like, if you don't work the way we want, we are going just to replace you with the Serbs from the town next to us, or with the Bosniaks from the town next to us. So this is like really interesting, how this works in Bosnia now, how you can basically use nationalism even in the workplace and basically make people work for, let's say, smaller salaries than they should work, just playing on the card of the nationalism. For me, this was like the highlight of the course, because I was really interested in populism. And, today people tend to call everything populism. This is populism, that is populism, this is populist talk, this is populist politician. So you're not sure like what is actually populism. What was the highlight is actually there's no kind of universal definition of the populism. For the populism, it's important, to have, let's say, a certain group of people, and then to have elites that are working against the people, and to have this will of the people. So the populist politicians are always like saying, we are with the people, we are representing the people because these elites are using them, and then we are representing the will of the people. It's interesting to know that there is actually right-wing populism and left-wing populism, which was like, yeah, interesting that these kind of populisms exist, because I always kind of thought that populism is something pretty negative. But in its beginnings, let's say when the populist movement started, also in the USA, when it started in the 19th century, and also when we refer to Europe, they were not kind of, that they were not negative movements. It was just like, we want for people to have their voice. We want for people to be able to express what they want. So we had these populist and populist movements. But of course, I would say that populism somehow evolved. Populism is a bit of a good guy that somehow gone bad during the course of time. In my work, definitely this can help with, just helping young people and kind of facilitating this process of their understanding what is populism, how to recognize a populist politician, how to kind of recognize these very, very false promises given by the politicians, and basically how to, let's say, make right choice, if there's right choice, when you use your election vote, so when your election right, basically. So that's definitely one of the things, and it's important that people really know what is populism, in the meaning like not naming everything what exists on this planet Earth as populism, but really knowing that populism, let's say, is a very, very powerful weapon that can be used by very charismatic leaders in general. When you're doing the local activism, when you're doing the activism in general, I think you cannot kind of say, I don't want to dialogue with this or that. You really have to know to whom to address all of your requests. And you really need to be in a dialogue with those people who are basically making decisions, want to do that or not. We might say, oh, I didn't vote for this person, or he didn't vote for this person, but we really need to know how to dialogue with these people, and we need to know how to form really clear, precise, and straightforward requirements and requests from them. We need to know how to say, I don't like this, so I want to have this, and we need to know how to basically put our requests to the table and basically know how to make these requests possible. And that's why I would say that local first also in Bosnia in general, even in the peace building, in the dialogue and everything, I think we needed much more of the local perspectives than we had them. For example, if I work with young people, I tend to forget, like, what are the needs of these young people? Like, it's not what I want, it's maybe what they want. So when I'm kind of trying to draft a project and to make a program or something like that, I really need to think of these people and what are their real needs and how we can basically make some real changes that are going to be meaningful and useful for them, not from my own perspective, but also from the perspective of those who are the beneficiaries, who are basically going to profit and benefit out of these programs and let's say projects that we are running. It was really interesting to have participants from other parts of the world, because for us, if it's only us from Bosnia or us from the region, it wouldn't be that interesting, because a lot of things, we know many of these things. And then, when you have people coming from different contexts, they are asking, questions that are a bit differently shaped, because, they are not under the influence of all of these things happening here. So they have this outsider perspective, and we have more like an insider perspective. So this was a very interesting kind of a combination of participants. It's amazing to have people from all around the world learning about these topics. And actually, somehow we discovered that, in each of the countries, these kind of a movements exist. So it's not like isolated case of Bosnia or isolated case of this or that, but it just happens in different forms and different shapes, I would say, in different parts of the world.